pretty much how I leave it on a daily basis. And I've kind of tuned it to be a really nice balanced system to where I can use it in almost any situation. My furnace is making a weird squeaky noise. Do you guys hear that? Alrighty, so at the core of all good setups, people pretty much choose a brand of cage to go with, right? You got your small rigs, you got your Condor Blue, which I have one on my Pocket 4K. Then you have Tilta. Tilta, in my opinion, is by far the best. We got a couple things here. Obviously, I have the full cage. We got the top handle. I have the T5 SSD card mounts. And then on the left-hand side, you can see I have one of their follow focus systems. They have a couple different options for handles. This one I like because it's the skinnier of them, so it doesn't hold the bigger battery and the T5 card in it, but I like the thinness of it. But it also has the follow wheel, which works with the Nucleus Nano, and so you can see here that I have full range motion. It's a lot better than kind of holding the rig under here and changing my manual focus. These are Cine lenses. They have a really long focus throw, so it can be really hard with your hands to twist all that way. And so this is really nice to be able to calibrate. This also is connected to the motor, and so it powers it. And it also comes out really easily as well, since it does kind of block your ports a little bit. When I am using this as my A-roll setup, I have my Rode boom mic here, and it plugs in the mini XLR. And so all I do is unscrew it a little bit and pull it straight out. It's actually still attached, which is nice. So if it becomes loose while you're holding it, it still has a little quick release button you have to press and hold to get it fully off. When you have an extra, like, I don't know, 50 bucks or so lying around and you've kind of built up your kit, buy 2 of or even like 3 of your most necessary cables. See, it's all the stuff everyone hates to buy, but it can be absolutely crucial. And you can have the best camera, the best lenses, and even the best cages and rigging equipment you want, right? But if this stupid little like $5 cable breaks, then your hundreds or thousands of dollars of equipment are now useless. So this was kind of the first rig that all these little cables that make this rig necessary, I made sure to grab a couple of each cable, so that way if this snaps, breaks, fries, dies, whatever, I can just easily replace it and still use the rig. Over here on the power side, rather than running a normal D-tap to whatever the power plug is for Blackmagic cameras, I actually have kind of a short quick release cable here. All right, so I got this little guy right here. If I wanted this thing to go from handheld AC power to gimbal, so running a whole different power cable, different setup, rather than having to Velcro, tie, whatever to the power port each time, I simply use this, which the other end is like the most standard D-tap port ever. So I can just plug in a D-tap, P-tap cable into that. And so the D-tap cable that's on the back of this V-mount battery plate here, I just kind of have tied, and you can see the power head kind of sticking out right there. And so right now you can see that it's connected, right? So I turn on the V-mount battery plate and I can turn my camera on and we're good to go. But if I want to make this entire rig a little bit lighter, I can do so in about 10 seconds. I just need to simply disconnect that kind of quick release power cable right in here. This has a little lever. Now, once the front is loosened, there's another little lever I hold down here and hold that, and it slides right off. And so now we're down to a little bit more bare essentials. And then when I'm ready to throw it back on, simply just slide it back in there, retighten the front lever, re-plug in my quick release power, and now I'm back to the original setup. Last Tilta thing on here is I have their small little matte box here. One, I like it because it is currently holding, you can see the reflection, the Dream Effects filter, and it comes off super easy with just a little screw right here. Now to get this to fit, because if you technically look it up, this is meant for like mirrorless cameras. They have a more pro one meant for 86mm and up cine lenses. The matte box comes with a bunch of different adapters, and so this is technically a 77mm adapter, and I just use step-up rings to adapt from 77 to 86, and then that allows me to use this matte box. There's no vignetting or anything. Haven't had any issues on the 15, 45, or the 150. Let's see, 4 lenses. I'm still using the IRIC Cine lenses. Absolutely obsessed with these things. For the money, I'd argue that there is no better lens on the market. As long as you don't need auto focus or anything, because they are true manual Cine lenses. They have low focus breathing. They're incredibly sharp, and they easily compare to $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 lenses easily, and they're weatherproof. So bonus. Again, I have a little handle here. This is kind of adding to, again, the overall balance, because when it's broken down, I can hold it from both sides, but I don't know, it kind of feels a little bit awkward when I have the full rig setup. And so being able to have my hand a little bit more forward and then a little bit more back here just gives me a much better center of gravity. And by the way, if you're curious, this is all about just under 16 pounds. I think it's 15.5 pounds. Again, this is my main V-mount battery here. I've been using this for going on probably like 7 years. This was a well worth it investment. And it's also Anton Bauer, which you may ask, like, what is the difference between batteries? Well, I can safely say after 7 years, this will now charge to 97%, I think is where it tops out. So it's lost about 3% or so of the overall charge, maybe a bit more, but at least that's what the reading is. But honestly, the biggest thing is right now you can see the percentage. It says 89%. But as soon as you power on the camera and whatever accessories you want to plug into it, you'll see that change to an hour. It's still calculating. Usually takes a couple minutes to kind of see what the voltage is. Usually at full charge, I can get around 12 hours just running the camera. So it's cool to see the high numbers, but where it really becomes important is when you get down to your low batteries. If you've ever shot weddings or events or anything like that, there is nothing I hate more than cameras and battery systems that have like the 3, dots. If your camera battery shows like 1/3, 2/3, or full, I hate that so much. Every single camera should have at least a percentage. If you can't do this where you give me a very accurate time frame of how long I actually have in hours and minutes, at least give me a percentage, because that like last bar could be like 2 seconds or it could be 45 minutes. And I used to get so frustrated at that. This thing, every single time, is down to the minute in terms of accuracy. If this thing says I have 5 minutes left, then I pretty much have 5 minutes left. And where some of my cheaper V mounts may have like 1 bar left, but then the voltage starts to be really inconsistent, and so then it will like cut out and cut the power to the camera, which obviously isn't good if you're recording. This thing will keep everything running until its last breath. All right, rambled enough about the battery there, but well worth it investment here. I think I already mentioned it, but again, I shoot on T5 SSDs. Honestly, shooting straight to an SSD has been the best experience. Literally being able to plug this in via USB-C here and then plug it straight into the computer. Sometimes I'll edit straight off of it. That's not very safe for footage, but if I'm in a pinch, then it works. I don't think I could ever go back to a camera that shoots on an SD card. I hate small, flimsy, fragile media cards that can be easily lost, broken, or damaged, or whatever. All right, and for my monitor up here, I'm still using the Portkeys BM5 I believe they did just come out with the BM5 III. It didn't look like a huge difference. I'm trying to get my hands on one to test out. So now I just run it off of this big off-brand Sony battery here. These are the best, I don't even know how to say that, but you always kind of gamble with third-party batteries. So I bought like a 2-pack a couple years ago, and they like last forever. They have a button on top so you can see how much power's left. They have a USB port so you can even charge your phone or other USB powered accessories off of it. The only thing that I dislike about it is it's got SDI in and out, but it doesn't have HDMI out, so you can't do pass-through or anything, so it's only HDMI in. And then I'm just using the Cine kind of 360 swivel. This has been awesome. I used to hate having to constantly tighten and untighten a monitor mount just to like swivel, pan, or tilt. So this one's, if you don't already know, you can basically just pin it around and it's got tension to it, so it's a little hard, but no matter where I bend it to, it will stay. And I think last but not least, kind of the newest addition to the setup, I'm gonna make easier to see. All right, so this is the Portkeys Li. It is a viewfinder, and I did a whole video on it, so I'm not gonna spend too much time. You can go check it out up there if you are interested. But basically, this is a very nice budget viewfinder. It's HDMI, so I can simply just plug it in, and you can power it via a USB monitor, or you can just use, again, one of these very standard DC to P-tap. And then now, just like a monitor, you can kind of see what it is that your camera's seeing. And of course, I'm not seeing anything. I have the equivalent of a lens cap on. I really just like it, one, because even though this monitor is super bright, sometimes still in direct sunlight, there's a glare, and being able to look through a viewfinder and just focus 100% on the composition and not have to like see everything else in the world can be extremely helpful. I know everybody's setup is different because everyone's use cases are different, but I've spent the past year basically trying out different little accessories, different kind of configurations of this setup. Overall, I'm really happy with my setup here, but I would love to hear what you guys think down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, get subscribed. I'll see you guys in the next video.